So in a traditional sex worker, am I really a sex worker? And what is the definition of a sex worker? Someone who sells sexuality. You have to be comfortable with yourself to put yourself out there like that. And there's my friend had just died, and there he is on the stage doing whatever porn. And I was just like, oh God, I don't want to see that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Hot Sandwich, the podcast about sex workers and sex industry. With me, I have today a wonderful guest, Daddy John. Hello, Daddy John. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you again for being here. We break the ice and ask you about your social media, where we can find you, under which name, on which website.
I have multiple levels of social media. Obviously, for my work projects, I am Daddy John. On Twitter, I am at Montreal Daddy. On Is My Guy, I am Daddy John. And on Fans Only, I am Montreal Sir. If you get into the Instagram situation, I am at JRH1762. And that's mostly my photography style stuff. I have one other at Gardener Daddy, and that's my landscaping, because I'm a landscaper. On the side, I'm a landscaper here in Montreal.
So, of course, we are here for talking about sex industry and how did you start and when did you start in the porn industry? What motivates you to start?
I've been a bartender for 43 years. I started in 1979. And I remember being younger and looking at strippers, watching how they interacted with clients and what they were doing and stuff like that. And I realized the difference between me and the person stripping is I'm doing what I'm doing for quarters and they're doing it for dollar bills. And that's when I realized that bartending and stripping are very similar. It's entertainment in a sexual fashion, in my style anyways, a sexual tension with the clientele. I'm always making jokes, I'm making them comfortable, but I'm also keeping a sexual edge to the situation. So if you really want to look back on my history as a sexual worker, it's been going on all my life. So moving the sex worker situation, it wasn't as complicated as all that. It was about 3 years ago, and I have a friend had asked me several times, and he'd asked me if I wanted to join some of the sites he was on and do stuff with him. And I'd already started doing publicity videos for Mr. S. Leather. So I'd already started doing it, and they were about as close as you get to being pornographic, but not pornographic. So I was already starting in that vein. And then we had come to the conclusion I was going to start with Is My Guy. My husband bought me a tripod and a new phone so that I could actually, videotape myself. Thanks, honey. We set requirements. When I do the videos, I only do solo. I started with Is My Guy in probably February of 2020, and then COVID hit.
Yeah,
I needed something to do, and I needed income. The original idea between Is My Guy was basically just fun and extra money. Is My Guy became sort of my vent, sort of carrying on the, hi guys, how you doing? So in a traditional sex worker, am I really a sex worker? And what is the definition of a sex worker? Someone who sells sexuality. And definitely within my lifestyle, all of my lifestyle, and all of my life, I have been selling a form of sexuality, sexual tension, showing what I can to get away with what I make. And that in a nutshell is a sex worker.
Again, I don't have a really straight definition of what is a sex worker, and I'm totally agree with you.
I know a doctor here in Canada, and he told me that he met some just amazing people from other countries, usually women, but they were sex workers, and their definition and what they had as a lifestyle was so completely different from our taboo Western culture. Their whole families, they had kids at home, they were a sex worker, they made their money doing that, and at the end of the day, they would go home and have, in whatever context, a normal lifestyle.
You mentioned that you've been a bartender, right? And definitely you mentioned already that you were already kind of consider yourself a sex worker, you were entertaining people with your body kind of, and with your sex appeal and all this stuff. So you think that definitely be a bartender help you with starting Is My Guy page?
There's a couple of things with that. I was raised in a period of time. I was born in 1962. So by the time I was 10, it was 1972. They were doing the hippies and the free love and, love yourself, love your body, me. And as a young child, I really appreciated that. It was very exciting. So I got older, and obviously, as a teenager, everything's wrong, Like, but by 17 years old, I was working in a bar. And of course, someone would look at, oh, you're very good looking, and I'd be like, oh no, yeah, you're good looking too, all that kind of stuff, because we just don't know how to take a compliment for one.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? There was a whole period in my early 20s where I was just like squirming. I was still post-adolescent. I moved from Ottawa to Toronto. I got a very good job in a bar in Toronto, and I got a lot of attention. I had this one friend, an older friend of mine from Ottawa, and I'd look at him and said, I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. And he was the one that sort of went, oh, John, there's people in the world that are meant to be upfront, entertaining. You do it really well. You have a charm about you. Be comfortable with it. Be happy. Now, the other thing is, after 42 years as a bartender, what that does give you is a sense of who you are, how you look, what you're working with, those kind of things, a comfort. And I've literally seen people come to Montreal as tourists and spend the whole weekend at my bar, think I was the best thing. They'll be like, hey, John, and oh my God, you're wonderful, and talk to me all weekend long. But it's definitely gives you a confidence. It gives you a sense of who you are, or it can give you a sense of who you are. You have to be comfortable with yourself to put yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
If you're actually going to take your clothes off, this is me, or look, I'm going to touch myself now.
Yeah. Another job as well, a landscape, right? Does people around you in this job knows actually you have like Is My Guy page?
I got to say, so the landscaping, I've done landscaping most of my life.
Okay.
Anyone that hires me as landscaping, especially in the beginning, okay, I'm coming to work for you. I'm very happy to work with you. You have to understand two things. I love to be alone in the garden. I will never wear a shirt, and I'm probably not paying attention to you when you talk. As it developed, a lot of my clients have become men that I know from the bar, or women.
Okay.
And so they're already familiar with me being Daddy John, and I know a couple of my clients that also have accounts with Is My Guy, OnlyFans, or name the one, When I was a kid, let's say I was 20 years old, I was obviously asked to be in porn films. And of course I would say no. The taboo behind being a porn star in the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s was immense. Whereas now it is very much, who don't we know that has an OnlyFans page?
Yeah.
They're doing amateur porn. So it makes it a lot easier to talk amongst her. Yeah, I have an OnlyFans page. I do it. But most people know it. I mean, my mother doesn't need to know it. Would my mother be surprised? No.
Okay. But out of curiosity, if somebody right now, a studio, will approach you to make a movie, will you consider still no? Okay.
One thing happened to me a long time ago. For one, like I said, I have a husband and we've been together for 6 years. We set requirements in the beginning of this. I don't want to be a porn star per se. So I'm a solo artist, if that's what you would say. So a friend of mine who I knew from when I was younger decided he was going to pass. After he died, I was in a bar wherever in the world, and he had chosen to do porn. I'm drinking and I look up and there's my friend had just died, and there he is on the stage doing whatever porn. And I was just like, oh God, I don't want to see that. And that would be another reason why, I don't need my legacy out there. Although now, I've done Is My Guy. I have this one video and it's me dancing in the rain. I was black with dirt. And I thought, you know what, as opposed to go in the house and make a mess, I'm just going to do it in the rain. Like, I should videotape this. I grabbed my tripod, I put the phone up, set it up, press the button, and then the storm comes and I'm dancing. And it was actually just a joy. It's up on something. It might be on Twitter, but once you put it out there, it's up there. So it's going to show up somewhere. Once you put it on the internet, you've lost it. I did a photo shoot with a friend 7 years ago. We did a few photos. They came out nice. And he never put a watermark on it. And I think I posted it on Instagram. About a year later, if you typed in men with beards, it would show up third on Google. I see what you're doing. And the man never got any recognition for that photograph. And it was everywhere. It still is. You know what I mean? If you put it out there, it's out there. You got to be ready for what you do. And I've already done that.
Yeah, that's the problem about the internet. Sometimes you completely lost everything and just like it's there. You mentioned definitely you're married. When you start your Is My Guy page. It was fine for your partner.
He is a man that is similar to me in style, but better. He has a comfort with his sexuality that is different than mine. He's done a lot of like exploration in BDSM, leather. He taught me a lot about open relationships and jealousy. So I brought it up to him. I said, Mr. Christopher wants me to try this. What do you think? He said, great. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it. We set the regulations like we said. He bought me the tripod. He gave me the phone. It's a matter of being clear and understanding, like this is what I want. This is what the boundaries are. These are the requirements. He would see me in situations where people would recognize me, and they come up to me and they would be whatever they're being, and very politely and very mindfully just sit back and go, well, that's lovely. And when it's all said and done, he'll look at me and say, you're very, very good that way. Obviously, we came to the conclusion together for multiple reasons that I'm a solo artist.
Okay.
I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a duel. He thought so, I thought so. Like it wasn't, but we have set that requirement.
You're on Is It My Guy website. That's definitely not the most popular around, I would say. There are few competitors that have a little bit more audience out there. Is there a reason?
Yes. So Is My Guy is a offshoot from Is My Girl. The man that was running the media section of that is a friend of mine. And he asked me to join for that reason. And I said, that'd be good. That's a good idea. I'm great entertainment. You have no idea how much fun I can be. I suck at everything else. You should have seen me trying to upload those videos and editing. Oh my God.
That's the question. Do you edit your videos? That's the question.
The Is My Guy pampered me. Like I had someone I could connect with. Like if something goes wrong with OnlyFans, I'd have to connect with one of the other members of the program, who I know, to look for information. But with Is My Guy, I had a direct contact with.
Okay.
Sometimes being in the smaller ones can be a better thing.
Do you plan your content like ahead of time, or just like, oh, it's time right now and I do it?
Two things.
Yeah.
One is I have a great imagination. I can plan all kinds of things, as you well know, but nobody else knows. I was late today. And I'm just like, just give me a second. I want to wash up because I was working in the garden. So I'm in the shower doing whatever you do in the shower, trying to go quickly. And I had this whole scenario planned, like, oh, we should have videoed that, and, me rushing in the shower and then showing up and then us talking. That takes a lot of editing, right? Yeah. So I have lovely, 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 complicated ideas that never fucking happen. That being said, usually it's like, oh, look, I have a boner.
Yeah.
Now, I got to say, like, I have a whole bunch of videos in the shower. That took more than just, oh, I have a boner. So, there's some planning, but minimal amounts of it.
The porn industry, I think, at least could have some bad side effect on society, because cool just like put higher standard. Definitely you see a lot of like really sexy guys around there on the stage or whatever, like you, like many others, I have to say. Do you think could be a problem?
So if you look at the world in general, you go to buy a shirt, they use very good looking people to sell the shirt. The media it's candy coated everywhere. And so of course the porn industry will be as candy coated. If you want to see the cracks in the cement or the cracks in the sugar coating, it's a lot easier to find them now. But they're enabled. It's good. Like one thing that I've noticed that I didn't see a whole bunch of most of my life is foot fetishes. Never seen so many people interested in feet. So what the amateur porn has enabled is a fetish. And I'm very, very much a fetish guy. But what it has enabled is being able to express a fetish and find others that want to express that with or for you.
Let's say now, if you have some young guy would like to start in the industry. Any suggestion? Where to start, what to avoid, or?
So started wanting like a young man, a new man, I've met people in their 40s and suddenly they want to do this. I've thought about it all my life. I've been too shy. I was in the box that was giving me, and now I want to be outside of that box. How can that be? How do I achieve that? How do I express that? And some people do it really well, and some people don't. They see the attraction of that outside of the box, but they don't calculate all the risks. My advice would be to make sure you're doing what you want to do. It would be the same thing as I'm interested in leather, which would be very common for me to have younger people come up to me and like, I find it really sexy. I like older guys. I want to express myself in leather. Would you help me? So if someone came to me, I said, look, I'll walk you through it. I'll help you as much. You be ready for attention. And that's it. For most people, the biggest problem is attention.
Yeah.
When you start to get recognized, or when people are coming at you, even just from the internet standpoint, and you don't know how to handle that attention, you don't know how to deal with who they are and what they're saying to you. I've had full-on stalkers, men and women, but I've gotten to the point where I was saving screenshots of the messages I was getting. So that's the only issue that I would talk to somebody about. Remember, who are you and how comfortable are you with that? I have a stepbrother who's 14 years younger than me, and I got a phone call from him, and he said, but I have a problem. He said, my son is not very masculine. He doesn't care. He loves his son no matter what. I just have no guidance for him. I have nothing to say. Like I can't, because I have no experience. And he said, could you talk to him, please? It's like, I would love to help him. So his father, my brother, literally had that boy call me that night. And he is an effeminate male, which is fine. I said, so how are you doing? He said, I'm okay. He was about 18 at this point. I said, it gets easier, right? As you go forward, right? So we went through all that. Anyway, eventually he came to visit me. We had the big talk. I asked him, who do you have sex with? What do you do? Do you older guys, younger guys? You're being careful. You know about prep. And it's okay, time to go. I bought him a coffee. And we were walking by, up here in Canada, they're like Caribbean beauty salons. Okay. You can buy extensions and all the shampoos and wigs and anything you want, right? And we're walking down the mall and he's like, I said, would you like to go in there? He's like, yeah, oh yeah, that'd be great. So off he went. And there was a sale bin in the back and like wigs and plastic bags. And so I asked him, I said, is something you want? He went, oh, I'd love this. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. Let's go buy it. I also told him that I want to see pictures. It wasn't 45 minutes he got home and there she was in full drag. He looked great. He's now doing shows in Toronto. He is.
Oh, that's good.
He's great. I've encouraged him all the way. I talked to him yesterday. I've maintained it, but I've let him know you're an entertainer. Be ready for the attention.
Yeah.
Bring that story all the way back.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, no matter how you present yourself to people, be ready for the attention that comes from that.
Anyway, before closing, should we expect any new content from your page or?
It's winter and I live in Canada, so there ain't no plants outside. So yes, of course. I have a lot of backlogs of stuff left over from Is My Guy. I'll still put it on OnlyFans for sure. But new content, I definitely have more time on my hands. I'm moving my gym up into my apartment, shots of me in the gym downstairs. And so all that, nudity, masturbation at its best. There will definitely be new stuff.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much again. And it's been a pleasure talking. Meeting you finally. You look very good, by the way.
Thank you. You too. Definitely.
Have a good day.